Good day, I am Wendy Bino, your evaluation team leader. With us today are the members of the evaluation team. The team is comprised of 8 members who have a stake or vested interest in the evaluation finding of ORRS and can most directly benefit from the evaluation. We all represent the primary users of the evaluation results and generally act as a consultative group throughout the entire planning process, as well as the implementation of the evaluation. This 8-member team is charged with planning the ORRS program and its evaluation. At this time, everyone will introduce themselves. Here are a few things to think about before we get started. What is your program doing? Is the program working as intended? Why? Is your program achieving its objectives? Should the program be kept, refined, changed, or even eliminated? Who is involved in or affected by this program? In today's workshop, we'd look at the quality standards that will guide the evaluation, the evaluation plan, 4 major findings based on preliminary discussions with the relevant stakeholders, types of technologies to facilitate the evaluation process, evidence for recommendations based on the type of evaluation. First, let's review what the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, the OECS Language Arts Standards, wants the general outcomes for our grade 3 students to be at the end of the school year. By the end of grade 3, students should have attained all the standards for reading at grade 2. Select and read a variety of materials with fluency at grade level. Use a variety of comprehension strategies. Read and demonstrate an understanding of a variety of literary, graphic, and informational texts using a wide range of strategies to construct meaning. Read independently for a sustained period every day. Use technology as an aid to improve reading ability. They should also be able to recognize a variety of text forms, text features, and stylistic elements and demonstrate understanding of how they help communicate meaning. These students should also use knowledge of words and cueing systems to read fluently, reflect on and identify their strengths as readers, areas for improvement, and the strategies they found most helpful before, during, and after reading. Here is a snapshot of the program. On the Road to Reading Success, ORRS. It is a reading intervention program designed to support educators in creating personalized reading experiences for students of grade 2 to 4. Now, evaluation is the systematic collection of information about a program in order to enable stakeholders to better understand the program, to improve program effectiveness, and or to make decisions about future programming. An evaluation plan, therefore, is a written document that describes how you will monitor and evaluate your program. It involves how you intend to use evaluation results for program improvement and decision making, and it clarifies how you will describe the what, the how, and the why it matters for your program. Let's look at developing an evaluation plan. The 4 levels of an evaluation represent a sequence of ways to evaluate programs. During the evaluation, level 1, evaluate reaction. Level 2, evaluate learning. Post-program evaluation includes level 3, evaluate behavior. Level 4, evaluate results. As you move from one level to the next, the process becomes more difficult and time-consuming, but it also provides more valuable information. Implementing the plan. We start at level 1 and proceed through the other levels. Level 1 is student focused. It measures if the students have found the training on ORRS relevant, engaging, and useful. Next, there's level 2, and this level focuses on whether or not the students have acquired the knowledge, skills, attitude, confidence, and commitments that the ORRS is focused on. Level 3 is a crucial step in understanding the true impact of ORRS. It measures behavioral changes after the learning in ORRS and if students are applying the skills to their reading. And finally, level 4 focuses on whether or not the targeted outcomes resulted from the ORRS alongside the support and accountability of teachers and other stakeholders. We will now look at some tips for implementing. Level 1, the reaction. There are 3 paths to student satisfaction measure: satisfaction, engagement, and relevance. Satisfaction deals with how did students feel about the training in ORRS. Engagement, how much did the students get involved in and contribute to the learning experience. And the relevance, how much of this information will students be able to apply when reading different materials. The reactions of the participants must be positive for the program to survive, to grow, and to improve. So here are some tips. Use an online smile sheet questionnaire. Let students know at the beginning of the session that they will be filling this out. Pay attention to their verbal responses given during the training. Set aside time at the end of training for learners to fill out the survey. Create questions that focus on the learner's takeaways and provide space for written answers. Level 2, learning. Level 2 looks at what learning took place during the program. Is the change in the students' attitudes or an increase in knowledge or greater skills received as a result of their participation in the program? ORRS must accomplish at least one of these 3 learning traits to be considered effective for students. The best case scenario is to see an improvement in all 3 traits. However, as according to Kirkpatrick, only one learning trait is all it takes to have an effective program. So did the students learn new content or skills they can apply to reading? Did their attitude change positively? Is the knowledge acquired related and helpful to the task? Are the skills acquired related and helpful to the task? For accuracy in results, pre- and post-reading assessment should be used. Use reading scores from the previous National Reading Assessment as a baseline. Use reading scores from the following end-of-year National Reading Assessment to see how much was learned. Make sure that the assessment strategies are in line with the goals of the program. Include thoughts, observations, and critiques from teachers, parents, and students. Let's move on to level 3. This step is crucial for understanding the true impact of ORRS. This level will be implemented 3 to 6 months after the program is completed to provide reliable data. Are the skills and techniques presented in the training being used in students' daily reading? Why or why not? Here we also look at the concept of required drivers. That is, processes and systems that reinforce, encourage, and reward the performance of critical behaviors at school. Often, when looking at behavior of the students, other issues are uncovered. If students' behavior does not change after being involved in ORRS, it does not necessarily mean that the program has failed. It might simply mean that existing processes and conditions within the school culture need to change before students can successfully bring in a new behavior. So the tips are to use observations and interviews to assess behavioral change. Have a clear definition of what the desired change is. Exactly what skills should be put into use by the students. How is mastery of these skills demonstrated? Other questions to keep in mind are the degree of change and how consistently the students are implementing the new skills. Will this be a lasting change? Finally, level 4, results. These can be tracked using key performance indicators. This level also includes looking at leading indicators. These are short-term observations and measurements suggesting that critical behaviors are on track to create a positive impact on desired results. Now, before starting this process, you should know exactly what is going to be measured throughout and share that information with all participants. Don't rush the final evaluation. It's important that you give participants enough time to effectively fold in the new skills. It is key that observations are made properly and that observers understand the training type and desired outcome. You can ask participants for feedback, but this should be paired with observations for maximum efficacy. Major findings based on preliminary discussions with the relevant stakeholders. Student results indicate that national reading scores for ORRS students are higher than those for non-ORRS students. Student scores on ORRS assessments had a significant and strong positive correlation with student scores on the National Reading Assessment. ORRS met its target. 2 teachers reported that they did not use ORRS. A meaningful evaluation will never rely on a single data source, for example, surveys. Rather, we need to design and implement a data collection strategy which has the optimum chance of capturing the big picture of technology's use and impact on our school. This represents triangulation. Since we'd be using SMILE sheets, checklists, teacher survey on perception, on the impact of the program, classroom observation template, and parent survey, we'd need a few digital tools. We'd need auto voice meeting notes to help us transcribe. We'd also need QDA Miner, an easy to use qualitative analysis software to analyze textual data. We'd also be using SPSS to analyze statistics. And of course, we'd be using the Zoom platform and the Microsoft Teams with ORRS installed. We will also have access to ORRS online records to make comparisons. Based on the evidence for recommendations, the evaluation team recommended that ORRS Reading Intervention Program be offered to all students in the school. It is also recommended that the program be incorporated into the regular curriculum. Evidence for recommendations based on the type of evaluation. Participants declaring ORRS was excellent. Participants were satisfied with ORRS. Significant difference in reading scores from before and after reading assessment and use of ORRS, significant behavior change, and the impact of ORRS on the school were all reasons for that recommendation. Now, after hearing all of this valuable information, do you have any questions?